This podcast is part of the Podcast Arcade Network.
Welcome to episode 36 of Paranormal Dads. I'm your co-host, Pat.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Eddie.
Join us as we go in search of the world's monsters, myths, and mysteries right here on Paranormal Dads.
All right, here we go. Back and better than ever. How you guys doing tonight?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Awesome. So we're here recording at Eddie's studio, and on our table we have some pretty interesting artifacts
We
as
do.
decor tonight. So Pat, what's the story behind the green alien head on our table?
Okay, we are, you have to check out our website. I'll post a picture of it up here, but we are in the presence of, I got to look up the name, I'm sorry. This is actually the mascot of the Millard North Marching Band Flute Section.
Ooh.
This week the girls, or I shouldn't say the girls, the band people
Yeah.
are going through band camp.
Band camp.
And this is Zablo.
Oh, hello, Zablo.
He looks like a
Zablo.
Zablo.
He does. She
and
does.
it's
She
basically the kids have a special day every day during band camp, like a special dress up day or a theme day for band camp. And so there was one day this week, it was Area 51 day.
Yes.
And so what we have here is like a looks like a styrofoam mannequin head.
Right.
With the eyes painted black.
Yep.
So they almost look like alien eyes.
Mhm.
And the face is all green.
Yep.
We've got like a hair scrunchie around its neck is kind of like a decoration.
Yeah.
And my favorite part is the little diamond nose ring.
I didn't even see
in
that.
the
Its
alien.
little nose, but
Yes.
it looks like a little alien. So
It's great.
my daughter wanted me to bring it with me tonight so we could have it here and
Zablo's
give
here
us
and
inspiration on talking about all things paranormal.
basically the unofficial fourth host tonight of the
right.
show. I'm going to give Zablo a sip of my beverage.
Yay,
Pour one out for our
Zablo.
homie.
Go pour one out for our Zablo.
Now we have a ghost kind of statue candle holder thing, and we have our little paranormal gnome figurine as well. So we got an interesting array of things up here.
Eddie, you got to tell us the story about the ghost too.
The ghost was gifted to us by power friend and listener Kim Garrison. She was like, I love the show so much. I want to give you something that's going to embody Paranormal Dads. And for her, it was this tea light ghost holder, which is so good.
And it is awesome. And it's holding a tea light right now.
And he looks a little freaked out
Burning
by
and-
it. He's scared of fire.
It was a good gift.
Well-
Incidentally, Pat received a pair of panties in the mail from another fan.
Some next level, man.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
But he does kind of have a cult following. We've heard from some of the female listeners. I don't know what it is. They like Pat's voice.
There's this Pat Pleiss like fandom that's just
Yeah.
on fire.
And I think I got some I don't know, allergies or something going on. I kind of have a raspy voice tonight, almost a Demi Moore sort of thing.
Just adding
going
more
on.
smolder.
More smolder.
Like it wasn't already unfair enough, and now Pat's just cruising on by us. It's okay, Eddie. We got each other, buddy.
That's all right, man. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. We're gonna power on into the first segment, which is always recent sightings, as a way of catching everyone up to speed on recent happenings around the paranormal world. So here we go.
All right, welcome to Recent Sightings. It's Eddie's turn to do this, and I'm very excited. Because this is less of a recent sighting and more of a recent kind of event, but still kind of on the radar.
It's definitely recent, though.
It's modern day right now.
So exciting.
I couldn't help but chuckle to myself all week long leading up to this because it's such a funny recent happening.
Yeah. So anybody who maybe has paid attention to either social media, maybe even your local news, there's been a discussion or some development behind this Facebook event called Let's Storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us, basically. I think the full name is like, Let's Storm Area 51 to see them aliens. They can't stop all of us.
And it has how many people following this page now?
According to what I've seen, there's like over 500,000 members of the page, but over 1 million people have said they're going to be attending the event. And
Can you imagine 1 million people showing up in the desert and
to storm?
It probably still, even with 1 million people, it probably wouldn't be wise.
Yeah.
I'm sure they have quite a bit of firepower out there.
I
Dude,
mean,
it's going to be like Woodstock, but with people wearing a bunch of foil
Right.
hats.
yeah, it's very funny. Now, to kind of start this off, it was started. It has been as a joke. I mean,
Right.
it's an entire like subculture of social media where the posts are made as a big giant joke, and but the idea being, as we all know, like it can be a joke, but some percentage of the people are still going to buy into it 100%. So you'll have, even if 1 million, if you've got half of that, like we said, even if 250,000 people, think this is legit, then even still 10,000 people might show up, 5,000.
Well, I've heard the little alien, which is near where Area 51 is. It's a little kind of kitschy looking bar and grill type place, but I think it's also a motel.
Yeah.
And, it features an alien theme. That place is sold out for that weekend.
Are you for real?
From what I've heard.
That's amazing.
It's in Rachel, Nevada, a little sleepy town of Rachel, Nevada, and and some of the local people, even other motels, hotels around that area, they're just cashing it in. I mean, they're practically double booked.
Yeah.
And like you said, some people are going to show up and actually do it, and it's kind of that mentality of why, hundreds of wildebeest cross the African River at the same time, because the crocodiles can only get a couple of them. They're not going to catch everybody.
You can't stop all of us.
But
Now,
I think the military guys will.
Yeah.
They'll use some sonic blaster noise thing to just drop everyone at once.
So to kind of like address that right out of the
Yeah.
gate, like, so what I've heard from what I've read too is that this was actually like a music festival or some sort of like festival that was kind of being advertised as Let's Storm Area 51, ha ha ha. That's one of the things I've read. One of the other things I've read also is like, and I talked to a retired military buddy of mine, and he's like, oh, no one's in real danger, but like they're going to use a bunch of what they call quote unquote non-lethal, bean bags and like you said, the sonic, the ultra low frequency cannon that makes you poop your pants.
It'll just drop you.
Yeah.
Because they don't have enough beanbag guns for everybody. So
Exactly.
you're just going to do a mass, the equivalent of taking a fire hose and just spraying everyone down at the same time.
Right.
Load up a C-130 airplane with a bunch of bean bags.
Exactly. Just drop them
from the sky.
Ow, owie. Now, and then one last kind of bit of serious thing before we get into the fun parts. Bob Lazar, even Bob Lazar was concerned at this point. He was like, listen, and there has been kind of this momentum being built up, this renewed interest in aliens, extraterrestrial activity. There's actually been more sightings recently, more reported sightings, especially from military pilots. So there's a lot of kind of legitimate extraterrestrial kind of interest and momentum happening. So that's kind of, you start tying in like notable figures like Bob Lazar. And if you haven't watched that documentary, I recommend actually listening to the Joe Rogan episode first. I think it was way better than the actual documentary.
I'd agree with you there. I listened to that, and I also watched the Bob Lazar thing on Netflix.
What do you think?
I did think the Rogan thing was more in depth.
Yeah.
So, but if you don't know who we're talking about, Bob Lazar claims to have worked at a place around Area 51, kind of an off building right out on the facility. But he worked on alien craft and reverse engineering back in the 80s. Yeah. And he has come out and said so.
Yeah. A lot of what he has had to say resonates as truthful, and people who analyze, like people who are trying to come up with a story or lie, have said this guy,
he's not lying.
He's not lying.
Nope.
So even Bob Lazar has kind of lent his voice to this and has said, hey everybody, don't do this for real. If it's a joke, that's one thing. I get it, haha. But like if you're seriously considering storming Area 51, First of all, they're not even storing stuff at Area 51 anymore. He goes, if it's anywhere, it's inside the 5 miles into a mountain. You know?
For sure.
So
Or in Area 52,
Exactly.
which is allegedly in Colorado.
Colorado, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just if you aren't supposed to find these aliens, you're not gonna really be able to, unless you have a sighting of your own. Please share those with the Paranormal Dads.
And so, reaching out to the Paranormal Dads fans,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Don't do it,
We're,
guys.
we're not endorsing this event.
We love you too much to see you get pelted with beanbags and get hit with a ULF gun and poop your pants.
If you want to
Don't
go
do
to
it.
the Alien and check out just people watch, great.
Do
but
it.
don't step foot on that.
We don't have enough money to bail you out.
Exactly.
Not everybody, at least.
Yeah. But if you are so inclined to go anyway, take photos, put them on our Facebook page. If you're not going to listen to us, but wear a helmet for Pete's sakes.
We'll send you a Paranormal Dad sticker.
Oh, exactly. Share your stories of beanbag pelting.
Someone's just going to take a Paranormal Dad sticker and slap it an inch over that line that you're not supposed to cross.
Yes, there's a picture of Paranormal Dad sticker with bullet holes next to it.
They're hauling him off the jail. Worth it.
Totally
worth it.
Paranormal Dad's rules. Now for that's all the PSA stuff. Here's the fun stuff. So it has been done as a joke. It's kind of like a big ha, let's have fun with this. And some of that stuff is just too funny to not share. So if you want to have fun, go online, look this up. But there is a quote unquote battle plan that is at play right now. And I want to bring it up here. And it literally has, I have one of the more simplistic battle plans.
It's like an aerial view of it. Yeah.
It's
Area 51.
Yeah, it's an aerial view of Area 51, and it has 3 distinct factions of people. There's another one that has much more. This one just has 3. One contingent is called the Kyles, and these Kyles are fueled with Monster Energy drink, and they're just going straight at it. That's the battle plan for the Kyles. Send in the Kyles. They have rock throwers who are going to keep their distance and just huck rocks.
It's the equivalent of like archers keeping
Exactly.
their distance, shooting it at the castle from
Exactly.
range. Right.
And then there's a whole nother contingency called the Naruto Runners. And this shows you our age here. There was a Japanese, I only know this because of my children and also because I'm a bit of a nerd. There was a Japanese anime called Naruto. And there's this like pose they strike when they run where they have like knife hands and they put them behind their bodies like in a straight line.
Yeah.
Picture like Barry Goldberg, but without like flailing. He's just holding his arms straight like a plane and just running forward. That's basically Naruto running.
It's like so fast there's a streak behind you.
Exactly.
Kind of deal.
You're blurring time and space.
That's kind of funny because most of these groups are all internet memes.
It's all internet
it's all
memes.
internet factions that my kids had to explain to me a bunch of them.
The Karens.
I'm like, what are they talking about?
I'm glad
in
it
the
wasn't
kid.
just me because the first time I peeked at it, I'm like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, they even on the more complicated maps they have a whole separate contingency called the Karens, and it's like the angry like suburban mom with like the mom haircut who wants to talk to the manager. That's the Karen.
Go to Area 51 and ask to talk to the manager.
I want to see the manager.
Some 6'5" guy with a semi-automatic rifle and wearing camo.
Exactly.
Who's your manager?
So I thought in the interest of this show, I would try to infiltrate the Storm Area 51 Facebook group. Now to do this, it's not like Paranormal Dads. Paranormal Dads, you can just follow us.
Just follow us.
Which
That's all
feel
you gotta
free.
do.
Feel free. It's fun.
Like us.
Share us. It's easy and it's free. This is not easy.
Did you get denied?
No, I may have been approved yet. I'll
Okay.
keep you posted. They have to consider my application.
Oh my gosh.
But the application consists of 3 questions.
Okay.
And I will share them with you now. And the Paranormal Dads, my friends and co-hosts, my Paranormal Brothers for life, have not heard my answers to these questions.
All right.
The first question to join this group is, do you want to clap alien cheeks? And my reply back was, those are the only cheeks I want to clap.
Well played, sir.
Second question was, what is your occupation? Or if you're retired, what did you do before? I didn't feel the need to reveal this completely, so I put professional Bigfoot hunter by day, amateur sandwich artist by night, which is not necessarily a lie.
Right.
And finally, I put, the last question is, how serious are you about unveiling the truth? And I put, I would tell 1 million lies to reveal the truth.
They have to accept you, dude.
So we're going to see where my application goes to the Storm Area 51. I'll have to let you know if I get in.
If you need a letter of recommendation,
Yeah.
let me and Pat know.
Yeah,
a reference.
You never know.
Have them give me a call.
Well, you'll know when you see me on the news when I'm leading the Kyles. I'm like an honorary Kyle. I have like frosted tips.
I'll be with the dudes with the arms behind me.
You'll be the Naruto runner.
I'll be the
Karens.
I'll be the rock thrower.
Oh, the rock throwers.
Yeah, I'll just be throwing rocks.
Maybe I should be a fur baby. What's the
the
bunny?
furries.
The furry.
Oh, that's a whole different thing.
Those people who wear the head to toe pajamas.
The animal costumes.
Animal costumes.
Yeah, we've all got our thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were going to send in the furries even and have them like try to attack the gates. The whole point of that attack plan was that you would distract them and then the actual people wanted to sneak in the back. That was the attack plan on that one. But it's a super fun little, like, I get it as a joke. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
As a real idea, you know what?
Probably not so smart.
But you know what? Maybe get your buddies, go to the Alien and just hang out and have a fun weekend.
Have a few beers.
Yeah.
And a good time.
Go tour the sites, check out, go climb some rocks, have a good time. But don't go trying to. You're gonna get hit with a beanbag right in the mush,
right in your cheeks,
right in your alien cheek, and clap those alien cheeks.
Well, and they have a lot of kind of tourist things in that area. They call it the extraterrestrial highway.
Yeah,
that runs right through Rachel, Nevada, and kind of leads up to Area 51. I actually saw a YouTube video the other day. With all this hype of Storm Area 51, it was this tour company who kind of set up shop in Nevada there, and they do tours for tourists. You come on board, and they'll literally drive you right up to the line that you're not supposed to cross.
Oh wow!
And they'll tell you cool stories about
That's
the
too much for
history
Pat.
of it.
Even I saw his face. He's like, no,
but
yeah,
100 feet's too close for me.
So what happened is this guy was distracted by one of his passengers asking him a question. This is a guy who's made this route 100 times.
No.
He got
He
distracted. He blew right through it. Going like 65. He's just barreling towards Area 51. He gets to a point where he doesn't really recognize the terrain. And he's like,
I haven't been this far.
Yeah, I haven't been this far. Why doesn't anything look familiar? And sure enough, they within seconds, they have like a Hummer or, some military vehicle right on their tail.
Red dot on his
gets
forehead.
out, guys get out, guns are visible, guns are drawn. And anyway, long story short, they took everyone out of the vehicle, cited all of them for trespassing. Everyone was going to get it was like a $600 fine or $1,000 fine. Anyway, long story short, lawyers got involved and dropped it so that the only person who was charged was the driver.
Wow.
Can you imagine? With the guys, the camo dudes, back at base, oh, look at the gumption of this guy,
Flying in like Con Air.
And
just
as soon as they probably cut these people loose or whatever, they're laughing about it.
Oh, yeah, they are.
Because they got a story to tell their buddies.
That's crazy.
But they must be thinking, this guy's nuts. He does not care. He's coming full steam towards
We got
the
a
base.
live one here.
That is hilarious. Imagine how scared that driver was when you see a
Oh, yeah.
Humvee pull up next to you with a gun.
Well, and the best thing was he had a dash cam going, so you can see the
whole
expression
thing.
on their faces of all the passengers. And he's kind of this gentle soul, and he kind of gets out slowly and puts his hands in the air, and he's like, "My bad, my bad,
My fault,
my fault,
My fault."
Oh man,
But dude, it's gonna be a whole happening there because
Well,
even
it's in
if
September.
a fraction of the people show up, it's gonna be a whole deal. You remember that movie mid '90s came out in '96 or '97? Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey. It's called Contact.
Yeah.
So in that movie, the whole hype of they're launching a vehicle to go, rub to fraternize and rub elbows with the extraterrestrials, and it creates this scene that's just like Woodstock. You have millions of people showing up,
Yes.
costumes, tinfoil hats. You have religious extremists protesting, and it almost. I mean,
That
this is
might-
gonna be like the
it
next
could
closest
be.
thing.
Guys, I have a real-time update. I just got in. I'm in.
You're
You
in?
made
I'm
it
in the group.
Oh man,
Closed group. Yeah, the closed group has 272,000 members. So I knew that you could say you're going, but to be in the group, you got to get vetted,
You're in.
like what I did. So now I'm in.
You're in.
I'm in. Oh, of course. They have
Congratulations.
T-shirts. It literally has a picture of an alien that says they can't stop all of us. That's kind of
we
funny,
have to get one, dude.
right?
A buddy of mine at work ordered some T-shirts, and they're like these blue T-shirts, and it shows some people running or being abducted by aliens or something. And it says something about the Area 51 fun run.
Yes.
5K.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You run a little bit faster with military guys
Yeah,
on your
I'm
heels.
sure you would.
right?
And just so you know, this thing is just full of like funny, weird memes. That's really a lot of what this is. There's
Yeah.
a guy stretching, getting ready to storm Area 51. Anyway, it looks funny. We have to get that shirt
We have to.
for sure. That'd be hilarious. You just see people getting beamed up the whole time.
If nothing else, people are going to make a lot of money selling T-shirts over this thing.
That's what we should have done. Should have made a whole Bigfoot event. That goes against the whole notion of Bigfoot. You don't want to have 200,000 people storming the.
He's going to be long gone before anybody
Yeah.
even gets to
You're
the
not going to
woods.
find Bigfoot that way.
Yeah.
No way.
Hide and seek champion of the universe.
Exactly. People have been looking forever. But yeah, with that, hey, listen, you know what? Join the. See if you can get in on the group. Join it. It's a fun time. And if you do decide to go just for fun, take some pictures. Share them with us.
All right. Thank you, Eddie.
That's a good one.
It's time for pop, culture, and the paranormal.
All right, pop culture and the paranormal. I was up to bat for this one, and I thought, what's more pop culture than music? You know, so I hopped onto, found this article, RollingStone.com, scariest songs of all time.
Oh.
Either by the lyrics or the meaning behind it or the story behind it. So
Can I ask you one quick question?
please do.
Was the hit song "Eat Your Mother Alive" by the heavy metal band Cerebral Hemorrhage featured on that list?
It should be. That's terrifying.
Okay, good.
Cerebral hemorrhage?
Yes.
Wow, that's dark.
It's not a real band.
What's it
Sure,
from?
Billy.
There was a line. Oh gosh, guys, it was a line. Remember in the '80s, there was that line of puppets where they were like doing parodies of famous people, and they were really kind of ugly looking.
Oh yeah, like Atlantic Confusion with the Genesis.
Exactly,
Yeah.
but there was like a whole series of, and they
Right.
did this comedic special of like Ronald Reagan and all these like famous people, and they were having like a fancy dinner. And anyway, there was a line in it where the president at the time, Ronald Reagan, said that line. They were like, "Hey, I got some music ready for you. Is it the song 'Eat Your Mother Alive' by the heavy metal band Cerebral Hemorrhage?" And that just stuck in my head. And so every so often, I just think about that.
I bet you Billy could come up with a lot of songs. for
Oh,
this
I
list.
bet you Billy could. His band. He's got some good songs actually. Some horror punk. Who would have thought?
Oh, is this our fellow podcast arcade Billy? We're
Fellow
talking about?
podcast arcade member Billy Peck, guest on Paranormal Dads, and he's hoping to actually come back on the show at some point. He wants to share some Halloween knowledge with us. At
Well,
some
he's
point.
welcome anytime.
Doesn't he have skulls and pumpkins tattooed on his arms?
Yes.
So who better to share
I
Halloween
know,
stories
I
than
know.
Billy?
Exactly.
Plus, he can play a mean guitar.
He can. So anyway, yeah. Sorry, Andy.
No, totally good.
We digress.
That's funny. Well, and I'm just kind of each, it's 10 through 1. Each one has just a little bit of a paragraph worth of explanation. So I'll read it. We'll discuss it. Number 10 was a song by The Doors called The End. So Jim Morrison turned Greek tragedy into a bad psychedelic trip with his lengthy, wild, and spontaneous song called The End. The song has the band falling down in Oedipal rabbit hole. I butchered that word. Oedipal?
Let me see. Oedipal, but I don't know what that is. Is it?
Never heard of that word before?
I don't know those words.
He fell down a rabbit hole of some kind.
Go down a hole.
With some spoken word from the mysterious singer in its second half, where a narrator threatens to murder his father
Oh, snap.
and do even more unspeakable things to his mother.
Not nice.
I just
Not
know
nice.
the part that goes, "This is the end."
That's how the song ends.
No, I don't know.
That's
I'm not-
dark.
It's
The
so dark.
Doors.
I know that's part of the song.
Oh, okay.
Could be the beginning. I'm not sure.
Wait a minute.
The song was worked on over a short period when the Doors were the house band at legendary venue Whiskey A Go Go, and it eventually got them fired.
Well,
You can kind of see why, right? Number 9, Pink Floyd with the song
yes.
Careful with That Axe, Eugene.
oh, I thought Comfortably Numb. That's a dark song.
Well, another really good Pink Floyd song, kind of eerie sounding, is "The Machine."
Ooh.
That one was from I can't remember the name of the album, but it's the
it
one where the
Animals?
guy's on fire. There's two dudes shaking hands. They're wearing business suits. One of them's on fire.
Yeah.
The other one's not.
What was that? Wish You Were Here? The album?
Was that the album?
remember.
I can't remember the title.
Oh, well.
But
I'd rather be the guy who's not on fire. Actually, Eddie was on fire prior to recording. He reached over to hand pat something, got his arm hair singed by the tea light on the
tea
ghost.
light on the ghost.
I went to extend my apologies to Pat, and I got burned by the ghost. I'll hurt myself to show Pat my love.
Eddie was burned at the stake.
I was.
All right, so number 9, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's famous 1968 B-side is a perfect example of how delivery can incite more fear than the actual subject matter. In the song, David Gilmour whispers the song's title and only a few other lines between Roger Walters' maniacal, blood-curdling screams above the droning, hypnotic music.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, Floyd.
You know, if you ever want to just have a really dark moment, listen to Dark Side of the Moon in a completely dark room with it turned up real loud.
Really?
Oh, it's awesome.
Wow.
You got to try it sometime.
Okay, I'm going to do this.
I heard that album, Dark Side of the Moon, still holds records because when it was released, one of the songs on that album was in the top charts for like forever.
Yeah,
it was like
it
for
was
a
like
year and a
years.
half. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was insane. So, number 8, Black Sabbath. Where to go? Black Sabbath with a song called War Pig.
Yeah,
sounds
War
really
Pig.
sounds uplifting.
You still hear that one on the radio.
Yeah.
War Pig, pigs plural, is easily one of Black Sabbath's most recognizable songs and guitar riffs. On the track, the band contemplates evil and war with imaginary witchcraft and sorcery. The song was originally titled Walpurgis, which is the name of the witch's Sabbath.
Oh,
Might be
wow.
Walpurgis. I might have mispronounced that. Not familiar with the witch Sabbath there. Sorry.
Andy does not recognize.
I don't recognize it as an official holiday. Number 7, Alice Cooper with Ballad of Dwight Frye. You guys familiar with this one?
I'm not.
I know Alice Cooper, but I don't
May
know
have heard
the
it,
Ballad
but-
of...
Well, disturbing and depressing, The Ballad of Dwight Frye is a masterpiece of Alice Cooper's abilities to combine glam theatrics with hard rock to make something truly terrifying. Dwight Frye is told from the perspective of a man trapped in a mental asylum, and the listener only hears from him after a young girl asks his mother when her father will be coming home. Cooper's desperate screams of, "I gotta get out of here," halfway through the song make the track all the more haunting.
Nice.
Man.
Dark stuff, man.
I'll have to go home and listen to all these songs.
Yeah, some of them are a little lesser known. Number 6 is one called Suicide. No, it's by Suicide. The song's called Frankie Teardrop. Suicide's Frankie Teardrop follows the 20-year-old title character from his job in the factory to his home, where he ends his wife's life and in the middle of a mental breakdown from his impoverished life. The sparse, claustrophobic song is a nightmarish narrative made horrifying by Alan Vega's screams during the murderous climax. The song served as a significant inspiration for Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska.
That's a good album, Nebraska. You guys ever hear that album?
I
No.
don't believe I have.
But it's odd that song was an inspiration for one of...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Well, the Nebraska, I think it's the song. I think that's what the song's called. It's about Charles Starkweather, the murders in Nebraska.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. My goodness.
Anyway,
I didn't know that. I'm not from the state, though, so that's probably why.
At number 5, we have Alice Cooper with a song called Stephen. The character Stephen is at the center of Cooper's 1975 album, Welcome to My Nightmare. He's either a child or a man with a child's mentality whose nightmares are explored over the songs. He appears over the course of several Cooper releases, but the song Stephen is the eeriest exploration of the voices in his head.
Oh. That's 2 for Alice
so that's
Cooper.
2, yeah.
Yeah, there's some repeat offenders on here for sure.
Man, all I remember is Be My Frankenstein from Wayne's World,
That's Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
which is Algonquin for the good land.
They look at each other like, what's going on?
We're not worthy.
Number 4, Mike Oldfield with a song called Tubular Bells.
Right.
You know this one, Pat?
That's
Of course Pat
isn't
does.
it? What's the movie? Gosh, I should know
The
this.
Exorcist
Actually,
says here.
okay.
Yeah. The
Tubular bells?
Yeah.
Tubular dude.
You'd know it if you heard it. It's a Halloween song.
Oh.
It gets played every Halloween.
Oh. Does it?
Yeah, it's just like a music kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gets used a lot, huh?
So it's not a surfing song.
No.
Totally tubular, dude. Found these bells, bro.
Righteous bells, bro.
Sick.
Well, it says here the 1973 prog rock classic is a simple, moving piece of piano-driven music made terrifying by its usage. The opening piano notes of Tubular Bells was used in the iconic horror film The Exorcist, giving the song a spooky new life within the same year of its release.
Boogity, boogity.
Boogity, boogity, indeed. Number 3, we have the Beatles.
Huh?
Yeah, didn't think they'd make the list, with a song called Revolution 9. The avant-garde sound collage, Revolution 9 was the Beatles' most experimental track, and also, at over 8 minutes, the longest track they ever officially released. It had a dark place in history, having been deemed a source of inspiration for murderous cult leader Charles Manson, who interpreted many of the Beatles' songs on the White Album as a prediction of an upcoming race war between black and white Americans. No bueno.
Man. What a punk.
Probably the Beatles' trippiest album.
The White Album?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, maybe some mind-altering substances were
I
involved.
think they were experimenting.
Was that the one with the walrus? Or no? That was a different one, wasn't it?
I'm not sure.
That song's lyrics make no
Cuckoo-cuckoo-choo.
sense.
They are weird.
I don't know if that was one, but one of the Beatles songs I kind of listened to a different podcast called Mysteries Abound, which was talking about, which I'd highly recommend, by the way, but it was talking about one of the Beatles songs they created purposely where the lyrics didn't make sense, almost just like as a challenge to people who, you know...
They're like, read into this, people.
Yeah, read into this, and there was no
people do.
meaning. And people did, of course, they would.
Yeah.
Number 2, we have Blood Rock with a song called DOA. sounds really uplifting.
Enough said.
Enough said. Washed in gloom, Blood Rock's DOA is told from the perspective of someone who has just endured a plane crash. Sirens play in the background as the narrator takes in the bloody scene around him.
Oh, nice.
I thought DOA stood for dumplings or anchovies.
Oh, really?
I was excited for that.
I'd take dumplings every day.
I take
ya?
dumplings. Yeah, I'm a
I'm an anchovy man myself.
But you just ate sushi upstairs, so
I like the sushi.
yeah. Number 1, drum roll please.
The most scary.
Scariest song ever, Black Sabbath, with the song called Black Sabbath.
Ooh.
Once described as metal's most evil track by Judas Priest's Rob Halford, Black Sabbath's eponymous song launched heavy metal as a sinister new subgenre of hard rock. The spooky, terrifying song about Satan ending humanity was inspired by an ominous event experienced by Geezer Butler, who saw a shadowy figure lurking in his room after Ozzy Osbourne gave him a book on witchcraft. The book was gone the next day. So
Whoa.
there you go. Black Sabbath, Blood Rock. I mean, there's
The number
When
one.
Ozzy Osbourne gives you a book about witchcraft, you know you're in for an interesting
You know
night.
you've made it.
That's going to be an interesting night.
well, anyway, so happy listening, everybody.
Wow.
Turn the lights down low, play some of those songs, and you might need a Prozac afterwards, but
Play some "Don't Worry, Be Happy."
for real.
let's quick balance this out. Oh man.
So there you go. Some paranormal music. Went to a real dark place. Might want to cancel that out by some cartoons and sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns.
Shiny, happy people.
Little REM.
So up next, we got the main mystery, and Pat has something lined up for us, don't you, buddy?
Oh, it's coming.
I'm
It's coming.
excited.
Here we go.
Right after this.
From the opulence and excess of Beverly Hills to luxurious destinations around the globe, it's time to rub shoulders with the privileged and successful among us, as Paranormal Dads now offers you a look into the paranormal lifestyles of the rich and famous.
In 1976, while recording his signature album Bat Out of Hell, Meatloaf had a supernatural experience at the Woodstock, New York house he was staying in with songwriter Jim Steinman and producer Todd Rundgren. The singer-actor was in his room when he saw a blonde girl in a white dress. Thinking it was a fan of Rundgren's, he went downstairs and told the guys, "There's a groupie up on the balcony." They responded, "How would she get up there? There's no stairs on the balcony." Everyone went up, and there was no one there. Soon after, Meat claims to have had a second encounter, this time with an entity that slammed closet doors and ripped covers off his bed. Out of fright, Meatloaf popped a bunch of Steinman sleeping pills, causing an overdose. Obviously, he survived, and went on to record his best-selling album. The rock star also encountered a ghost in a London hotel. He claims it came through a wall and stood at the edge of his bed. He travels with a K2 meter device to try to communicate with the spirits when they appear. He's also appeared on the show Ghost Hunters, and was featured on an episode of the Lifetime Movie Network show The Haunting of Meatloaf. Even his 2006 music video featuring singer Marion Raven, It's All Coming Back to Me Now, is an emotional tale of a man haunted by his love who passed in a car crash. For the Paranormal Dads, I'm Pat, and this has been another Paranormal Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
And now it's time for the main mystery.
Okay, boys, we're going to put the keys in the ignition, fire up the cryptid bus. Yes! We're going on a road trip.
Yes, I'm going to crank my
cross
hat backwards.
Country. Woohoo! We're going to California first.
Oh, California, yay.
And we're going to explore the mysteries of Yosemite National Park.
Ooh, man.
So Yosemite is located in the western Sierra Nevada mountains of Northern California. Features a great valley, the strength of granite, granite mountains, the power of glaciers. It's full of life, and the tranquility of the High Sierra. But it's also home to curses, vanishings, and strange paranormal mysteries.
Sounds like our kind of place.
So Yosemite's been registered as a World Heritage Site and draws about 4 to 5 million visitors every year.
Wow.
From every corner of the world. And it's some of the strange tales and ominous curses and deaths and vanishings can revolve around the gorgeous locales located in the park. So it's hauntingly beautiful, but at the same time, you wonder, is there something else here?
Yeah.
Is there more to this place than I was thinking?
You can almost connect the dots. It's hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah.
So you have people going up to the canyon edge, taking selfies, falling in, and then it becomes haunted.
Yeah. Well,
So here's the first story I was going to cover. It's about a guy, 26-year-old Christopher Thompson. He claims that during one camping trip to the park, while out getting firewood, he spied an old Native American man standing by his tent. Now, the visitor wore some sort of bell around his neck that rang out every time he moved, and the mysterious man allegedly asked Thompson for a ride out to the main road because he had gotten lost. So he said, "Sure, I'll give you a ride." When they reached the truck, the old man insisted on sitting in the back seat, which right there you gotta be thinking,
right?
something's not right here.
Yeah. No, man.
So picture them driving up the road, and Thompson would catch a glimpse of this guy in his back seat, and he was swaying back and forth and muttering some sort of chant in almost an alien language.
Oh, boy.
After this, Thompson kind of panicked, so he just drove straight to the ranger's office, where he reported the whole encounter. He'd later find out that the mysterious figure had left something rather odd in his back seat in the form of an animal skin pouch. It was found to contain strange stones and herbs that many locals informed him were cursed. So Thompson would say, "I'm still haunted by dreams to this day, where I'm paralyzed and I can still hear him muttering that chant."
Oh,
That's not good.
So he apparently, it sounds like he dropped the guy off on the road, and then he went to the ranger's office and said, "Hey,
okay."
this guy's a kook out here."
And he left him a little.
And that's where he found all the little present in the back seat.
A little care package of cursed items.
It's a lesson learned. Don't be an Uber driver out in the middle of
Hey,
nowhere.
man, get in the car. What's the worst that could happen?
And that's the thing, the guy's trying to be a nice guy, give him a ride, and what do? He gives him a curse.
Dude,
Come on,
bad form.
But
Thanks for the ride. Here's a curse. Psych, I'm a jerk.
one of the biggest mysteries with Yosemite is actually kind of a sad story. It's a true story about just a disappearance of a 14-year-old named Stacy Ann Eris. This is probably the most discussed disappearance out there, and it's almost taken on like a paranormal aura about it. The story goes that Stacy and her church group, on the afternoon of July 17th, 1981, they went on a camping trip with her father and 6 others at the Sunrise Sierra Camp. The camp sits 9,400 feet above sea level and is known for being the final stop in Yosemite's Mountain Chalet Loop, which sounds like it's like kind of a touristy, very posh kind of place to stay in the park.
Anytime it ends in a T and you don't pronounce it, it's fancy.
Exactly. So
Eddie's life advice right there. If it doesn't have a T, it's fancy.
If it has a T but you don't pronounce it, it's fancy. Woohoo!
So Eris and her father, she told her father that she wanted to go take a photograph down by this lake, and it wasn't terribly far. It was just over this bluff. And so Dad's like, "Yeah, you go on ahead. I'm going to stay here, drink a beer. I'm good."
Solid dad move.
I'm not sure if he said drink a beer.
Well,
I'm improvising here.
I get it.
So
I'm there.
But there was a 77-year-old man who volunteered to go with her and accompany her on this little jaunt down the hill. So they went down there, and at some point the elderly man grew tired, and so he sat down to rest, and Stacy went on ahead. She wanted her picture. And back at the camp, the group's tour guide could see where they were, and the people were still kind of watching them. Eventually, though, Stacy disappears into the trees, on her horse, and she was never seen again. Ugh. The last person who saw him was a person on their group. She said they saw her standing on a rock about 50 yards from south of the trail, and she just disappeared. They used helicopters and searched for her for days, weeks, and eventually the search was called off. Never found a trace of her.
Well, did she say she was on a horse?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder if they ever found the horse.
Well, I would assume they probably found the horse.
Horse turns up.
So strange.
The only thing they found was a camera lens
What happened
belonging
to the
to
old
her
man?
camera. Well, he went part way, and then he came back.
He's like, the dad was right. This is exhausting. I'm going back.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So they just saw her go down into the trees, and they never saw her again.
Never. No trace.
No. There's an author. His name is David Paulides. He's a cryptozoologist and an author on mysterious vanishings, with, in particular, his books focus on disappearances that have occurred within the national parks. And he says it's really odd when he's trying to interview park rangers and people about this case. They're very tight-lipped. They don't really give him anything to go on. Almost like it's almost a cover-up. And I think that's where a lot of people are jumping on this, is saying that there's something more going on here, and the government's not telling us everything there is to know about
She
these
saw some hidden
disappearances.
civilization, man. I'm telling you right now.
Just went for it.
Hollow Earth entrance.
So
Park rangers here, I mean, they're kind of involved with all sorts of weird cases, weird creature sightings, disappearances. Several episodes ago, our main mystery was Scariest Tales from Park Rangers.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Right.
Of just odd occurrences and things that they see, being kind of first responders in a way. So.
And then the steps in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, I was in that
go
episode.
nowhere.
We got a lot of feedback from that, too, about
Yeah.
the stairs. People have
That's weird.
seen some of those
It was
things.
in kind of catching you up to speed if you missed that one. It was just park rangers and helicopter pilots, first responders out in the middle of absolute nowhere wilderness. Apparently, it's a thing that they'll look down and they'll spot staircases, either wooden or cement, stone, concrete, just staircases that lead from the ground 10 feet up into the air and lead absolutely nowhere. There's no house, there's no structure. It's just a staircase for no reason in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know. I don't know if they have those near the Sierra Nevada mountain range, but
Yeah.
that is odd. Like where could she have gone? It's
Without a trace. That's the thing.
Yeah.
no
All they
screams,
found,
No body,
nothing.
no...
yeah, just the camera lens is all they ever found. Where's the camera? You know,
Slipped into
just
a
the
portal.
lens.
She slip into a portal somewhere?
Yeah, that's weird.
I'm a proponent of the portals.
Yeah.
They're perplexing.
One of the most dramatic natural features in Yosemite, moving along in our tour, is Neya Canyon. Neya Creek flows through this feature, and the National Park Service strongly warns against the 10-mile hike all the way through this canyon. It's tricky to navigate. The rough terrain includes mandatory swims and dangerous climbs, plus the numerous waterfalls and slippery glacier-polished granite rock.
Whoa!
Makes it downright dangerous, even for experienced hikers. And so adding to the notoriety of this canyon is a legendary curse.
Oh, boy.
And now the story holds that back in 1850s, Chief Tenaya of the I'm going to get this.
Go for it.
Awanichi tribe placed the curse on the canyon as revenge for the death of his son at the hands of a battalion of soldiers. The troops were sent by the state of California to relocate the tribe, and of course the confrontation became bloody, and park rangers sometimes refer to Neya Canyon as the Bermuda Triangle of Yosemite, as hikers brave enough to attempt the canyon are known to disappear. And so the legend is the chief put a curse on this area of land, and ever since then people have been dying, being injured, disappearing, all kinds of crazy stuff.
That's like the perfect storm. You have bloodshed, you have a Native American curse, you have rough terrain. That's 10 miles. I mean,
That's
10-mile walk on a flat
trifecta
surface.
paranormal.
They've even reported shadowy apparitions in this area as well, which kind of raises the stakes of
feel
the
like
paranormal.
I feel like when you got a spot like that's been like laid down, like to the point where a person's like, you know what, I curse this place. I wouldn't go.
No.
I wouldn't go.
So
I'm done.
moving on in our tour, we go to the Awani Hotel. And the Awani is one of the most historic and luxurious hotels in Yosemite. It's home to a few occasional guests who visit from beyond the grave as well.
Hey.
Mary Curry Tressiter was a woman who was crucial to the development of the hotel and lived in an apartment in the hotel's 6th floor until her death in the 1970s. So ever since her passing, apparitions and strange activity have been reported on the floor. The funny thing is, a lot of it is more kind of not so much frightening as it is people being tucked in
Oh.
by spirits.
Oh, nice. Get
As
nice
they
and cozy, huh?
sleep, their clothes are folded.
Oh.
They might misplace items around rooms. At times, they have heard a voice calling out for guests.
Oh.
So,
Man, I want ghosts doing my laundry.
Yeah, really?
Really? Come
What
on.
kind of tip do they expect from that?
Yeah, I
leave them
know.
a $5 bill on your bed. Leave a mint on your pillowcase, and you thank the ghost in the morning.
well, check this one
Ghost
out.
Pepper.
Yeah, ghost pepper.
If they like spicy things.
One of the most famous people who stayed in this hotel was John F. Kennedy, and people claim that the ghost of John F. Kennedy likes to show up from time to time. He stayed on the 3rd floor during the 1962 visit to the park, and he was brought a rocking chair to alleviate some of his back pain. To this day, some guests report seeing a phantom rocking chair on the floor out of the corner of their eye.
So JFK was assassinated in Dallas.
63 in
Dallas.
Yep.
So I think they're reaching here. The ghost of JFK is gonna go all the way there to sit in a rocking chair.
Unless he
I
really,
don't know.
really liked
Maybe
that
he
spot.
really
He's
liked
like,
it.
this is heaven, man.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know.
Or where's JFK? He's always Kenny Bunkport is where all the Kennedys used to.
Yeah,
hang
that's in
out. You'd think
Massachusetts,
he'd be
right? That's
hanging
in
out there.
Mass.
But that's their claim to fame, is that he stayed there and he loved it so much that his ghost still frequents there, eh?
Yeah, and even though these are probably two of the most well-known hotel phantoms there. Excuse me, the entire premises has provided their fair share of accounts. Strange noises, disembodied footsteps, apparitions, all over the place. So,
Standard fare for
Yeah.
Andy. He's just nodding away.
Yeah.
It's used to.
Yep. Check.
Yeah.
Yep.
and apparently also the hotel was an inspiration for Stanley Kubrick and his classic horror film, The Shining. So the hotel in The Shining was kind of based on this hotel.
Yeah. And the Stanley Hotel's in Estes Park, Colorado.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just if you're going to go on a road trip of haunted hotels, hit that and then just keep going further west into the Sierra Nevada area, and there you go. Yeah. We
can't go out of the wilderness without mentioning our friends, the cryptids, right?
Yes.
That's right.
So plenty of Squatch sightings in Yosemite. And then also a group that we've talked about actually earlier tonight, not on the show, but before the show, our friends, the Nightcrawlers.
Yes.
Were first spotted on a camera in Yosemite National Park.
Yes.
So the Nightcrawlers, we've talked about them a few times. They look kind of like a pair of walking pants. Hammer pants.
Yeah, no upper body, no torso, not even a head really. It's just
kind
like
of a head though.
It's a little bit of a head.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a head.
It's just basically two long legs
with a head on top.
Walking.
Yeah, they're just walking.
Bizarre.
It's like Zorbuck over here. What was the alien's name again? Whatever.
Don't put me on the spot.
Zarbo?
Crab. I don't know.
But like with a pair of just legs. So like tiny head. And then
legs.
like a baggy pair of looking legs.
So that was the first sighting was out in that area, huh?
Yeah. And then also there was another spot. I don't know if it was another spot in Colorado or if there's another spot in California.
It was Fresno, I believe.
They were also Fresno.
Hence
That's the Fresno Nightcrawlers. So.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're gonna move along, get back on the cryptid bus, and drive a little further south. We're going to the Grand Canyon National Park.
We're on a great big convoy. Grand Canyon. Paranormal.
So Grand Canyon is 277 miles long, 18 miles wide, and a mile deep. It's a big place, and it's got plenty of paranormal stuff attached to it. One of the things that it's most known for as far as deaths in the canyon are airplane crashes, believe it or not. It's the number one cause of death in the Grand Canyon are the airplane crashes.
How is that?
Probably because there's so many, I don't know if they'd be inexperienced pilots, but so many just helicopters and
does lift change as they get over the canyon? Is that?
I would imagine so.
Yeah,
and just the heat
airflow
too. Yeah. So
good point. I mean, if you're gonna learn, if you're just an amateur pilot, it's so beautiful. Maybe they're distracted. Maybe it's a wind currents coming out of the canyon.
It's a mile deep. I can't imagine the air pressure's got to be a little bit different from. I don't know.
But let's talk a little bit about where some of these spirits and ghosts and things, with all this death in the canyon, there's been over 770 deaths in and around the canyon recorded, and they estimate there's probably many, many more. But I kind of got turned on to this when my family and I went down to the canyon, and we were actually on our way out of the park. We stopped at a gift shop, and they were featuring this book. The book is called Over the Edge, and it's about all the deaths that have occurred in the Grand Canyon. And this book is probably like 4 inches thick. And
so you can read that as you're listening to the top 10 scariest songs of all time.
Right.
Just go for it.
Yeah, and then you need some serious therapy.
And it was just one of those things I couldn't walk away from it. It's like, I got to get this book. So we bought it, and as we're driving back to Nebraska from the Grand Canyon, it's just full of short stories about people dying in the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
And the kids were old enough that, it wasn't too morbid.
They got the...
But and we kind of, screened some of them. But just really amazing stories of how, there were murders here, drownings in the river, people falling off rocks, people having heart attacks. It's just a very dangerous place.
Reading about all these people falling over the edge, were you happy that you were driving back to Nebraska that's flat as can be?
Exactly, yeah.
No mountains here.
It's like I would not have gone near that rim if I had seen this book when we were coming into the park rather than when we were leaving. But, just so many stories. And when we were there that week, 2 people had died that week.
What?
People taking, they go over the railing.
Take selfies.
Signs everywhere. Don't cross the railing. They're taking selfies, not paying attention to what they're doing. Fall off a sheer cliff, and that's it.
And you're falling a mile down. And it's not a sheer
in many
drop.
cases,
you're
at
the side
least a couple
all the way.
hundred
Ooh,
feet at times.
sorry, Andy.
Yeah. So
I need a teddy bear to hold or something. I don't do heights, man. Don't they have that walkway now that's see-through plexiglass or something that you can walk
at
out
one
into
point, you can actually walk out over the canyon at one
And you look
one
straight
place.
down.
We didn't get to see that, but
Is there a
it's
hole
there.
so that when you pee yourself,
I was going to say, they better have a drain on that
yeah,
thing.
there's a drain.
So let's talk about some of the legends here. The Masa, a Hopi god described as the keeper of death, is said to live in a particular region of the canyon.
Right.
And if you see strange lights coming towards you from deep in the canyon at night, or if you hear a tapping sound like rocks tapping against each other, be aware Masa may just be after you. Visitors reportedly experience nausea and anxiety and are more prone to accidents in this region of the canyon.
I'm having anxiety right now.
That scares me already.
He's the keeper of death.
The keeper of death.
Put that on your business card. What's your title, sir? I'm the keeper of death.
So here's another weird thing. The Jordan Kincaid Egyptian artifact controversy. So on April 5th, 1909, the Arizona Gazette ran a multi-page story on Smithsonian archaeologists S.A. Jordan and G.E. Kincaid, who had unearthed a secret tunnel containing numerous Egyptian artifacts, including mummified remains, inside the canyon.
What? They found it?
Yeah, so Asian-influenced items were also discovered, including a statue of a sitting figure not unlike a Buddha. The thing is, the Smithsonian Institute fully denies not only the existence of such artifacts, but also the existence of the supposed archaeologists, Jordan and Kincaid. While it's highly likely the Gazette merely published a late April Fool's Day hoax, conspiracy theorists theorize the Smithsonian is covering up evidence of ancient civilizations not in line with our current accepted history, and that likely aliens and or lizard people are involved.
I'm with it. I'm on the bus. Nope.
Blame the lizard people.
100%.
Another, going back to our cryptids, the Mogollon monster, Mogollon, Mogollon monster, was born in the Grand Canyon. So he's technically a staple of the Mogollon Rim area of Arizona. The aptly named Bigfoot-like creature made his first appearance near the Grand Canyon in 1903. The monster was described by Arizona Republic writer L.W. Stevens as such. It had long white hair, a matted beard that reached to his knees. It wore no clothing, and upon his talon-like fingers were claws at least 2 inches long. It also had a coat of gray hair, nearly covered his body, with here and there a spot of dirty skin showing. So, kind of sounds like me in the morning.
Sounds like Pat.
It's almost like an old prospector with mange is what it was. That's great. White.
They come from a gold.
That's weird, though. Kind of in the...
That sounds like...
Yeah, not
sounds
quite
like
like a
more of like
Bigfoot,
a-
especially
yeah.
with the long
Yeah.
fingernails.
Yeah.
You usually don't hear that about a Squatch.
It sounds like more like the... what am I thinking of? The... what's the-
Wolfman?
there's a name for it it's creepy sounding. It'll hit me later.
Wendigo?
No, not the Wendigo.
I'm just
but
going to
you're
start
on-
naming off every
start
cryptid I've
rattling them
ever
off.
heard.
Just start going for it.
But the white hair is weird. It almost makes me think of like a Yeti, unless it was just like, grayish hair from age. Maybe it was an old Bigfoot.
Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah,
that
like
is
this
a
hairy, clawed, kind of like witchy looking goblin-y thing.
Huh.
So, that witness Stevens, he also claimed to have observed the monster kill and drink the blood of 2 cougars, and then let out an unearthly scream.
Whoa,
So
this is
Pretty
all...
wild.
Just like a human juice box, huh?
Ooh,
Just,
get that straw.
Have me a cougar Capri Sun here.
Yeah.
You know, this part of the world just sounds like it is a magnet
Yeah.
for this sort of thing. I wonder what it is about it, other than the fact that it's a gigantic trench. Not to belittle what it is, but it's just like it's a pocket of just a hotbed.
And you kind of think about the terrain too, at least for someone like me who grew up in the Midwest with green grass and trees and stuff. You drive out to Utah and Arizona and places like that, and it looks like an alien world to me. You know, I'm not used to the desert and the way the desert looks. It looks totally different. you know, and that there's almost a mystique about that, you know, especially
Yeah.
people that didn't grow up in areas like that.
Yeah.
It gets your imagination.
Oh,
going,
it's a fire. I mean, I was same thing. I had the same thought when I was in Las Vegas. We went out into the desert of Nevada and just kind of hiked around and checked things out. And as the sun is setting, you're just like, this is where, like, you know, ghouls live. I mean, your brain just grabs it and runs with it. But it's crazy because there's stories to back all this stuff up too.
Yeah, and it's not just, you know, one thing. It's UFOs, it's cryptids, it's ghosts, it's, you know, all of that strange stuff.
All steeped in Native American lore, you know. Plus, you have tourists, you know, galore. So, you know, I think that just adds some funky vibes and energy to the mix.
Yeah, you have a lot of different people from a lot of different places.
Yeah, just a lot of different personalities leaving their mark, which could, you know, disturb the land or some of the spirits who live there. But, I mean, you're right, Eddie. You get out there and it's like, as the sun's, you know, kind of setting, it's about as close to like a Martian landscape as you might see, you know, here on Earth. But it's high on my bucket list to see the Grand Canyon. I just keep my fingers crossed. Maybe I'll, you know, see a dog man or a Bigfoot or a alien or something while I'm out there as well.
I'm imagining they do, like, you can camp there, correct? You can get a cabin or camp out.
There's numerous campsites around the canyon, and then you can even hike down into the canyon, and there's places to camp as well.
We are doing this.
Hey, you know what you can do?
That's a bucket list for us.
You can get on the back of an ass, and they do donkey tours right through the canyon.
Hey, the Brady Bunch did that.
There you go. The Brady Bunch did's good enough for me. Yeah.
Well, you know, I need a particularly large ass.
Because you like
big butts, and I cannot lie. You other but can't deny. With a paranormal dad.
We'll just have to be sure we bring our glow sticks.
Oh, glow sticks.
You'd have to bring glow sticks to the desert, man, because when it's dark there, it is dark.
Yeah, it gets dark quick, too.
That's right, man.
Where's the chalets?
You get a rave going with some aliens there.
Alien rave chalet.
Oh, you know there's going to be a rave at the Storm Area 51 thing, too.
Oh, man. That's going to be fun.
Not that those people need mind-altering drugs to have a good time. They're already weird enough as it is.
Their life is a mind-altering drug.
Well, tell you what, boys, it's getting late, so we got to wrap this one up.
Speaking of the sun setting, it is down. Gone. Hey, we'd be remiss if we didn't want to put it out to our listeners, fans, friends, family, that we're going to be doing the second, really, Paranormal Dads live, but for the first time at Scooter's Coffee here in Omaha, Nebraska, located at 156th and Pacific Streets. On set, help me out here, guys.
It's Friday, August 23rd.
Thank you. My brain almost died.
And it starts at 7:30.
Yes.
And the Scooters locale, the owners are kind enough that they're even making our own personal menu. What are we going to have there? We're going to have...
Quick correction. It's 7 to 8:30.
7 to 8:30.
Yeah.
On August 23rd. Thank you, Eddie.
Yep. Special coffees that are going to be the Loch Ness Latte, the Bigfoot Brew, and the Cryptid Cappuccino, I believe, are the three the special Paranormal Dads themed coffee drinks.
It is a free event, family friendly. We're going to have some giveaways, some prizes. We're going to have a donation jar for those feeling generous. You'll be able to buy order T-shirts
and gas for the cryptid bus.
And put some gas in this cryptid bus.
That's right. So it'd be awesome. We're going to be talking about some really cool topics that we're keeping under lock and key for the moment.
Super secret.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. Come get all caffeinated, listen to some of our kooky tales, and we'll probably do a Q&A session with the audience, so attendees can share some of their own weird happenings and experiences.
And if you can't make it, we'll be recording it as an episode as well, so you'll be not left out on the fun. But if you can make it, you probably want to get down there. It'll be a good time.
It will be.
That's right. Be sure to leave us a good review on everywhere where you leave your podcast reviews. You can find us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that jazz. Our websites, paranormaldads.com, email address, paranormaldads@gmail.com. And we do read all of our comments. We read every email.
We respond to as many as we can.
Very, very interactive, and we like to engage with our listeners. So thank you for listening. And if you go to the Grand Canyon, be careful. If you go to Area 51, be even more careful.
Yes, just be careful.
It's a jungle.
If you see some stairwells in the middle of nowhere, don't go up.
Don't go up those stairs.
Just take a picture.
All right,
Send it
guys.
All right.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
See ya.
How do I do that?
I think it just, if you go to send money, I think it lets you scan.
Oh, scan code.
Yep.
Get started.
I live
Access my camera.
a life of truth. I've traveled each and every mall.
It's magic.
It's magical.
Ouch.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Ah! I got candle burn, dude.
Ah.
I leaned across it. I was like, Pat, I'm sorry.
It's a 3rd-degree burn.
That's what I get.
Are you okay?
Pat's beautiful ears.
That's main mystery today. Eddie got burned
And he got burned
at the stake.
This is what we get when we spill paint in the garage.
Was the panties too much?
No, that was
Do we
perfect.
need to edit that
I'm
out?
like, I did? Really?
I think it's fine.
I didn't check the mail today.
That's not, that's an outtake.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
I'm like, do you know something I don't?
Is Andy going through my mail?